Hi Sohini, how are you?
Hello, I am fine. How are you, sir?
Good, good. Thanks a lot,
Okay,
Sohini, for taking time and doing this discussion with me. I
thank.
wanted to quickly give you a brief about myself and what we are trying to do at Velocity, and
Yeah, certain.
also introduce you to our viewers and put your story out there, what you've been through, and
Sure.
how you've been working in the music therapy space.
Yeah.
So I am Karthik. I worked for almost 10 years in a lot of startups and corporates, and then eventually decided to start something on my own. Velocity is something that I'm building with a couple of friends. We are building practice management solutions for wellness professionals and wellness collectives to manage their operations, manage their growth, and streamline their work. Currently, we are working on putting stories of wellness professionals like yourself out there and trying to create more awareness about modalities like music therapy and any other alternative wellness modalities that exist for
Yeah,
the end consumers or all, and also for the wellness fraternity.
of course.
Would love to know a little bit more about yourself, your background.
Yeah, certainly. So, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me, for thinking that I am eligible enough to share my experiences. So, yeah, based on my background, I am from my subject. My mother subject was educational psychology. So, study based on that, and after I was working as an assistant professor for more than 5 years. And yeah, based on my musical background, I would love to say that I am a musician from my birth actually because my mom is a musician, and so I don't know when I just fell in love with music. So it's basically when so it that musical connection is from my the time of my birth. So it's nothing specifically I would love to mention. So what happened after educational psychology and all? I just have lots of experiences about psychology. Not lots, but yeah, little bit I can say, because my main focus area was on education, right? Not core human psychology. So my focus area was on mainly child psychology, child centric education related to that. But after that, during my professional life, so that time one of my colleagues, she told me that you have enough musical knowledge, and besides you have psychological background, so why don't you try music therapy? So based on that, to be honest, I didn't have much idea about music therapy that time. So I thought ki okay, maybe being a musician, I can go for music therapy and all. So that time I didn't know about much courses. So I thought ki okay, just let's search in Google. Everything is available in Google, so let's search. So that time I got lots of informations, lots of videos related to music therapy. But to be honest, when I applied that accordingly, that didn't work. So that time first strike on my mind. Just I am sharing an experience of my life. So one day what happened? I mean, earlier I just searched ki, being a Hindustani classical singer, I have much knowledge about Hindustani classical ragas. Okay, so in music therapy, raga chikitsa another part of that. So I thought ki okay, as I have knowledge about raga, so let's go for that raga chikitsa. So I just searched so many things and all, and I saw that there was a one raga called Malkos. Okay, Malkos is an evening raga. So they mentioned in Google, by Google searching it has been mentioned that Malkos raga is very helpful for mental peace. So one day, I still can remember the day something, happened in my college, and I was so disturbed, mentally disturbed. So after returning from college, I just thought, ki, okay, let's apply music therapy on myself because I am a musician, I know that better. And that time I played one YouTube, link of Malkos Raga, sang by famous singer Kaushiki Chakraborty. So usually that is very favorite raga of mine, and she is a very favorite singer of mine. But that time, my entire focus was on Malko's Raga. I mean, didn't help. What was my objective? To get relief, to get mental peace. It didn't happen. But my, focus was like, okay, so this Sargam was like that, this Alap was like that. Okay, how the notations are going on and going on. And so after prolonged half an hour, what I observed, ki, yeah, I like Malko's Raga. Now it is playing. Okay, it's fine. But somehow, what was my objective? To get relief, to get mental peace. That didn't happen. Why it didn't happen? Still I was thinking about that college incident. Still, I was stuck into that thought. So why it is happening? Why it didn't work? Then after taking a few minutes, no, yeah, I think after 10-12 minutes break. So I am a very devotional person, and Lord Shiva was one of my. I mean, I do believe on him very much. So I thought, okay, let's play some chant of Lord Shiva. So just randomly, I played one chanting. Just in YouTube by searching, there was a mention like Lord Shiva powerful mantra. Nothing much. It was nothing mentioned that much. So I just played that, and to be honest, I didn't listen that earlier. I never listened that mantra earlier. I even didn't know the meaning of the mantra. But after I think 6 to 7 minutes, I started to cry. I don't know why I started to cry, but spontaneously, and it happened. So I after I mean that moment, that emotion, I mean something was there in my mind. I was disturbed, and until I was able to release that emotion, I was not getting any kind of relief. Ki okay, what is going on? What is going on? I was just crying, 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 and I still can remember at least for 10 to 15 minutes. I just cried. I was alone in my room. I just cried. After that, when I just became little settled and all, so I then once thought, I mean, strike in my mind ki why it happened, why I cried. So that time I searched in Google. I saw that mantra. I first searched ki what is the meaning of the mantra. I don't know that. I didn't know the meaning of the mantra. Coincidentally, the meaning was like, it is very famous mantra, Karachara Nakritam Vakya Ayajam. You can search also. So the meaning is like, oh Lord Shiva, whatever you have done, whatever I have done in my life, maybe it's good or bad, I don't know, but I am just completely sacrificing myself to in your lotus feet. You just pardon all my mistakes. It is the overall meaning of the mantra. But to be honest, I didn't know the meaning of the mantra earlier. So that time I thought, okay, I didn't know the meaning of the mantra. My intention was just to get relief, and Lord Shiva is one of my favorite gods, so I just played his mantra. Why? And earlier also I played Malkos, that is one of my favorite raga. So why Malkos didn't work for me, and why this chant worked for me? So that time first strike in my mind to ki music therapy is not just about musical knowledge, or not just about to get relief. There is some scientific thing behind that. First time that strike in my mind ki okay, being a musician, it's not just enough ki okay, I love music so I can be a music therapist. It's not enough. So from that moment, I still can remember that time I usually get searching for professional courses ki okay, from where I can able to get more experience. That I actually wanted more in-hand experiences, not just theoretical knowledge. So this thing get me into more deeper about knowing this thing, about knowing what is music therapy actually, how we can apply music in therapeutic way. So yeah, now I can say, though I am still a learner, I do believe, but still I can say ki yeah, I at least have reached 1% of this slab of music therapy. Yeah. So yeah, now currently I am working as a music therapy, and of course a counselor of as well. But yeah, this is the journey from professor in a music therapy. Yeah.
And how long?
Yeah, actually, I received my certificate very soon. I mean, very earlier, not that much long. But yeah, I am in this profession as you. It's quite like 2.5 years. Yeah, 2.5 years.
Before that, you were working in educational psychology.
Yeah, yeah, assistant professor I mentioned. There is a here in West Bengal. Yeah, here in West Bengal, in Kolkata, in a college, I was working as an assistant professor.
And you were teaching music itself, or
No, no,
psychology?
it's educational psychology. Yeah, it's completely educational psychology.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do teach music, but that is in just informal way. I mean, not in professional in any.
So you still practice psychology, or do you still teach psychology?
Yeah. Actually, see, whoever client comes to me, so it's if I just tell you, ki, okay, I will apply only music therapy. Before applying music therapy, you should know the client very much nicely, na. So that rapport building is very much important, and for that rapport building, you should know the client. So for knowing the client, of course, the verbal counseling is very much needed. Otherwise, so counseling is a part. Actually, music therapy is an applied psychology, I must say, because after knowing the client psychology, then only you can apply music in therapeutic way. Otherwise, you can't.
So when you go to like a music therapy institute, right? So do they also teach you psychology, or the psychology understanding is because you have worked in that field?
No, actually, yeah, there are little bit parts of psychology, but as what I can say, suppose you are, going to get training in any, like in these days, there are so many institutions who teach you for, job purpose, who teach you particularly for job purpose. So when you go for that institute, they don't teach you in any graduation master's part, right? They just teach you in overall training. So it's like that in music therapy training. When you come, of course, basic psychological ideas they will give you, but they already will expect ki you can, I mean, act accordingly. So you can't expect ki okay, from the scratch they will start and they will gradually. So it's about all your experiences. If you have psychological background, if you have a little bit knowledge, then it's of course helpful, I must say.
But do you see that having that qualification of teaching psychology or being a psychologist yourself, right? Do you see that helps you a lot more compared to a lot of other music therapists
Yeah,
who
yeah,
probably only
100%.
implement music, right?
100%. I believe that very much. Yeah, see, they are in our institute. I mean, where I do learn, and there are lots of people also there who are not from psychological background. But like one of my colleague, she was very much talented, and actually she had lots of experiences in her life. So she learned from there. She is very much older than me, but she learned from her experiences, and to be honest, she is very very nice in her work. So she didn't have any psychological background, but what she learned, so it's about how you apply. And as I mentioned, yeah, of course, psychological knowledge, for me personally, I do believe ki that knowledge helps me a lot. Musical knowledge and psychological knowledge both helps me a lot. But musical knowledge, like I must say ki some of my friend who thought ki okay, they are from musical background, like one of my colleague, she was, she completed her BMuse and know the grammar and in depth of music, then only you can apply that in therapeutic way. But it's not ki you have to perform like a professional singer in every aspect. So to be honest, that there is more important to know about the psychology. So of course, I it helps me a lot. For me at least, yeah, though I deal earlier with completely educational psychology, as I mentioned you, कि that is a part of applied psychology where I deal with students, where I deal with child-centric education. That knowledge of psychology, of course, helped me a lot, and they also teach. But as I mentioned, those who are don't have any, I mean, 0% of knowledge about psychology, they must have at least some basic knowledge for going further. Otherwise, it will be little difficult because during the course, no one will teach from the scratch. That is very much true.
And have you started so before doing the qualification to be a music therapist, right? You must have had certain approaches or techniques when you were working in the psychology aspect.
Mhm.
Post qualifying yourself as a music therapist, have you started implementing music therapy much more into the psychology practice? How do you, weigh and consider, do I apply music therapy here or do I apply something else?
Yeah, actually, it completely depends on how your client will feel, because here it is completely subjective experience. Yeah, sometimes we do go for group therapy, that is different. But when you are doing in person any session or something, that time it also happened with me. Suppose this session, by going through the discussion with my clients, I have set some objectives. So next session I will going to apply this or something. But next session, based on her mental state, spontaneously on spot I have to change my objectives. So this happened to me. Even earlier I worked in cancer hospital for almost 1 year. So with cancer patients, you can understand ki what is their physical state and even mental state also. So they are not in condition, and we can't say ki okay, so you have to do that because I as a psychologist or I as a music therapist has prepared this thing for you, this session, so you have to go for that. We can't say. So it happened with me so many times that my clients means based on her mental or physical conditions, I have to change my objective spontaneously. So someday maybe just instead of applying any kind of music therapeutical techniques, I just go for simple verbal discussion. Even one of my client, she just asked me for, I took almost I guess 13 year about 20 to 25 sessions with her, I guess. I can't exactly remember. So initial at least 5 to 7 sessions, she just asked me ki you just sit with me, I want to talk to you. So I initially, she didn't able to disclose herself, but gradually I came to know that no one in her home was there to listen to her. Everyone is busy with their own work, and she is very much alone. And of course, she was a breast cancer patient, so her mental state was very much low, as you can understand. So she just asked me to sit, and she was talking. Just I didn't interrupt for a single moment. Whatever she wanted to talk, when she wanted to take a break, completely I just give her complete freedom. So after I think 7 to 7 sessions, I think, I can't remember. So then gradually I tell ki okay, so do you want to go for any musical experiences or something? Not I just directly ask her ki okay, so now we'll go for music therapy, because so many people, this is a new thing. And one of in this, I mean, I don't know, I mean, maybe in India till date, whenever people just think ki okay, she is a psychologist or music therapist, so it means pagal ka doctor. It's like this portray is very much in their mind. No, we don't, everything is fine, her mental state is very much fine. Even it happened with so many, maybe patient wanted to talk, but their caregiver didn't allow me to talk to her, because they are thinking ki she is something who will dimag ka doctor or like that therapy, this kind of things. Apart from physiotherapy, all the therapies like this kind of psychotherapy, psychiatrists, psychologists, music therapy, these all, they are just have a vague idea ki okay, it means some therapy will come and my mom or my dad is completely fine, she don't have any mental issues, so she don't need any therapy. So it is the thing. So based on that, gradually after building the rapport, you have to find so what kind of techniques I can use to explore my client in more and more deep way, so that I can help my client. So music therapy, there are several techniques. So which technique when you should apply, after knowing the client only you can know.
And interestingly, you did mention about the awareness, right?
Yeah.
How has that changed over time, right? So when you probably had qualified yourself, or when you were learning music at a young age, right? How has that awareness changed now? Because right now I feel the society is building that awareness, right? Especially with a new generation coming in. So the Gen Z generation is more aware
Yeah.
about their own well-being, what is affecting them, right?
Yeah.
Compared to the previous generations like myself.
Yeah, 100%. Mm-hmm.
Uh, how is that changing when specific to music therapy, right? Because therapy, mental health is becoming a lot more mainstream right now.
Right.
How does music therapy fare there, and what needs to be done to educate the audience, right? So how do you take that stigma associated with the word therapy, right? Like you said, when you say
Yeah.
someone is going to therapy, others look down on them, right? Or they have some sort
Yeah.
of subconscious
Yeah,
notions that
yeah, yeah.
okay, there is
Very
something
much.
wrong with this person.
Very much, yeah. So actually, earlier, I mean, in the beginning, when I first started getting knowledge about this course in formal way, so many surroundings in my people, I mean, they are very much well educated. Even some of my professors, colleagues, they also used to ask me, ki, okay, so is that like any musical course? So there are, still date, even in very well educated, highly qualified people, they have lots of misconceptions about music therapy, lots of misconceptions. It is not their fault, it is the fault in, but they are not music therapists. Right now I am after completing a professional degree, but there is also a tricky, just after getting the degree I am a therapist, I can't say. It is about each and everyday experience and each and every new experiences with your clients, because it is psychology is such a subject where for every key there is, for every lock there is some separate key. You can't say ki this key is going for all the locks. So here even some like I think 2 years back in West Bengal there is a famous web series. I don't want to mention its name, but famous Bengali web series where music therapy was introduced for a short part. So that time, what I saw, there was a person who is a music therapist, and in he had a chamber, and outside of his chamber lots of people are waiting, and one by one patients are coming, and one patient is telling ki Guruji, I am just having viral fever, please suggest me something. So he is saying ki okay, just go for raga tori, it will help you to reduce your fever. Okay, you have some issue in your stomach, okay, go for raga, like that. So it has been I mean, and that web series was so much famous. So, and to be honest, it is completely wrong. It is completely wrong. I mean, it never happened ki if you just go for that raga, it will help you to reduce your fever. If I say I worked with cancer patients and it worked extremely nice, but if I say ki only by applying music therapy I will help to reduce the cancerous cell, it will never happen. Because music therapy is a holistic approach. So you need medicine, need therapy. You can't say ki only therapy will help you. So music therapy is not like ki prescribed some specific song or some specific music that will help you. Completely based on clients' need and clients, what based on which objectives you are working. So it's completely subjective manner. It can't be generalized in any way. Secondly, it's completely, another misconception was also there. Ki okay, I love to listen music. This music, yeah, it really helps me to feel good. So it is music therapy. No, it is not. I mean, in our daily life, we used to listen so many music. Some musics we love very much, but it's not music therapy. Yeah, you can say that it is music medicine. Medicine in the sense like, okay, if you are even in local train, bus, there are so many noise, so many things are playing, randomly playing. Maybe some musical tune you love, maybe some things you love, but it's not music therapy. When a professional therapist, based on some professional goals, apply music in therapeutic way, and of course with scientific evidence. Why I am stretching this word scientific evidence? Because we have evidences. Before applying the therapy, what is the client's biological, psychological, physiological parameters, and after applying the therapy, what changes happen? This all documents we have. So it is completely a documented process. We just, it's not a myth ki yeah, you are feeling good, so it is very much working for you. No, we can't say in general way. We should have that evidences ki why it is good, why my client is feeling nice. If just in general way, like it happens so many times with my clients ki if I just ask her ki how are you feeling, yeah, I am feeling good. But what exactly is there in their mind to know that if I want to apply music in therapeutic way, then how I should apply, and why after applying that, what kind of changes happen in their mind, that I should document it. So that documentation is very much scientific and very much logical. So I can't say she is feeling good, so it is a music therapeutical part. No. So this kind of misconceptions and lots of there.
How do you document these, right? So typically, do you have like a system, or do you write it down?
No, it's of course there are, we have some what it called template. Yeah, I forget, sorry. Yeah, so proper after the template, and there are so many psychological skills as well. Okay, so like, okay, so just I'm giving an example. Suppose you are working with anxiety or stress related issue of a client. Okay, so before the session you have to, I mean, what we do usually, we check their biological parameters like their blood pressure, pulse rate, oxygen level, everything. And besides their like physiological parameters also, like their muscle, how their muscles are working, what eye contacts are there or not, what their like everything, what their body language, what their facial expressions, everything, we that is very much observable part. Okay, so minutely you have to observe. Now if you directly ask your patient, it is very much common thing. Not I am telling not about patient, like you are unknown to me, I am unknown to you. So if you just usually ask me ki okay Sohini, how are you feeling, I will of course say ki I am fine. I will never explore what exactly going on in my mind to you, because you are unknown to me. So same happened to my clients also. they will never explain ki what exactly they are going through.
Mm.
Cancer is overall part. I am just telling about cancer patient. Apart from that, there are so many clients of mine who just say, "Ki, yeah, I am fine." So if they are fine, then why they are here, right? That is the first question. Something is wrong with them. So based on that, first after measuring those biological parameters. So if I am working, suppose a patient with stress or anxiety disorder or anxiety related issue, so of course they are biological parameters, bp, pulse rate, that will be high, right? First my initial thing is, and she maybe she don't know ki why she is feeling anxious. Maybe she is saying ki yeah, I am for very little reason I am feeling anxious, I don't know, but I have this issue, I can't sleep. And from anxiety disorder gradually insomnia will come, gradually so many diseases will come. So of course my first target should be to reduce her level of anxiety. Of course it will not happen in just one session. She has to keep that thing in her as a routine in her home as well. First, if I focus on anxiety, reduce anxiety. So for relaxation techniques, I have to first apply the relaxation technique. So for relaxing the patient, if you just instantly ask them ki okay, you just now close your eyes, we will go for meditation, it will not work, because she is a patient of anxiety disorder or anxiety related issue. So instantly she can't calm down, right? So first what should you do? You should go for some after basic, first the rapport building is very much important, so that your patient will trust you. Okay, whatever she will do, that will be helpful for me. After that trust based bond, once you feel okay, the patient is connected now with you, that interpersonal emotional regulation is very much important here. Then what you can apply, then you can tell okay, so now we will do something like some breathing exercise. So let's go for some breathing exercise. You also will do with that patient. Breathing means, if you usually people will think okay, meditation will very much helpful, but uh, if you just ask your client, or if you yourself will do meditation, okay, let's sit for meditation, let's go for at least 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Maybe after 10 minutes you will see ki, okay, you have closed your eyes, but everything you are able to sense around what is happening. But actual meditation is completely, you can't just focus on anything apart from your own mind, right? So that kind of meditation is very much difficult for even us also. So if I just tell my patient ki okay, now you go for meditation, nothing will happen. So the breathing exercise, and breathing means counting the breathing, like hold your breathing, take inhale, stop your breathing by counting, suppose 8 or 10, then gradually
Mm.
attention from the anxiety perspective, from your breathing to your breathing. And then gradually, once you feel ki okay, your patient is now gradually getting relaxed, breathing is gradually normalized, then there are so many techniques, of course, as I mentioned, like guided imagery, like chanting assisted relaxation, music applied relaxation. So then our facial expressions, their changes, like initially after closing their eyes, you can still see the eyeballs is moving after, because they can't concentrate. But gradually their eyes, the eyelids will stop to blink, their eyeballs will stop, gradually the face will calm. You can feel that, you can sense that. So as a therapist, this is very much important to observe your client, because sometimes what happens ki your client will not be able to understand this is perfect for me or not. Maybe there is something uneasiness, but she or he will not be able to understand ki okay, this is something discomfort for me. Maybe she will think ki, okay, this is very common, but no. So though I all the time I used to tell to my clients every time ki if you any moment, if you feel any kind of discomfort or any kind of emotional part or anything, you just tell me, I will stop instantly. But as a therapist, every time I do focus on my clients based on their every gesture. Even sometimes, they just hold their hand. Sometimes their hand is just like that. So if you go for relaxation, this is not a right pose. Your client should go for this pose, and that is spontaneously. Legs also, like if they like very consciously they will sit, just close their legs like that way, that is also discomfort kind of pose. Initially they go for that posture, but gradually after relaxation their legs automatically stretches. So this things besides their breathing, it is I mean the it is every parameters you have to check. And then of course once they get that much relaxing state, then they gradually open them up ki okay, what is the reason, because anxiety is a very common issue nowadays, and there is something behind. But I mean, there is some historical perspective of that. Why this happened? Why the people is, I mean, or getting anxious? There must be something. What she, what she or he may don't notice even earlier. So they only have to notice ki what happened earlier. Maybe in their earlier, I mean, childhood, maybe in their adult age, or maybe for some parts that makes him very much anxious nowadays. So what was their routine? So based on every aspects, we have to figure it out. Even sometimes client is not only enough, you have to ask questions to their caregivers, to their, even as I mentioned, music therapy is very much holistic approach. So when I was working with cancer patients, so I do, we had a team like where me, that psycho oncologist all are there. So we, after every session, we did a meeting at the end of the day ki for this patient what was their physical condition. So after applying that, if there anything, any changes happen in their mental state, that who was our psycho-oncologist, she was very much was capable to identify ki okay, this changes happened, so this was my objective, so this changes are happened. So like that.
So, and so you've talked about working with people who are struggling with cancer or going through their cancer treatment, right? So even I think in the last podcast with Deenal as well, she did talk about various people in that space she is working with. Right? Is music therapy helping people who don't have a problem, right? Because larger modalities like fitness, like going to the gym or doing yoga, now I think slowly mental health or therapy is also becoming slightly mainstream, where people, even if they are not having some problem in their life, right? So they've made it a constant, right? Saying, okay, I will do this on a regular basis. So are there people who understand music therapy, who have tried music therapy, who are incorporating music therapy as a routine in their life? Even if there is no issue, nothing, no problem is there. Are there people who are doing that, and in what aspects are they doing it for?
Actually, this kind of so many clients I already have. So one of my client, okay, so if I say, just I am asking you, are we normal, are we completely say that we are cured or we are completely healthy? I don't think
I don't think there is any person in
don't
the world who can say
any person exactly. So I mean, like sometimes for special child we just tell ki they are, earlier it was mentioned as abnormal and we are normal, but we are not normal. Actually we are more than abnormal than them, what we believe. So it's not about so nowadays, just I am giving an example, like every day after waking up from waking up, I mean, we do follow all of our routine, daily routine, like okay, I have to go here, or I have to take sessions of my clients, I have to work out in gym, and then okay, after returning back, this every schedule, right? We are very much following our schedule. Have we ever asked ourselves how I am feeling? I don't think we daily life we meet so many people. So after good morning, maybe we used to ask them ki how are you feeling, or like that, usual, just casual conversation. But we never ask ourselves how I am feeling today. Someday it happened, maybe in your life also someday it happened कि after waking up, maybe you are feeling कि आज मुझे काम करने का बिल्कुल मन नहीं है, मगर फिर भी मुझे करना है क्योंकि I have lots of schedule. Right. So in that time, what we do? We just giving a stress in your mind ki you have to do this because you have lots of prefix schedule already for today. You know, हमारे मन एक ऐसी चीज है, हम हमारा एक्चुअली ब्रेन एक ऐसी चीज है जो हम जो समझाते हैं वो एक कहावत है ना. Yeah. So, like as you mentioned, first of all, I would love to ask you, ki how many of us are actually, perfectly healthy or happy? I don't think there
I
is
don't
some.
agree.
Yeah, no, not a single person. Like if I am saying ki I am a happy person or healthy person, I can't say. So it's very much relative word, and very much, like my happiness and your happiness are different, of course. So maybe, like, nowadays, specifically nowadays, in our routine bounded life, we used to just follow our routine, not our mind. So mental, as you are focusing on mental health is a कहीं घूमने जाना चाहती हूँ, मगर मैं नहीं चाह ये नहीं हो पाएगा क्योंकि आई हैव लॉट्स ऑफ वर्क. So that time I am forcing my mind and forcing my brain as well कि to follow my routine. So what will happen अगर कोई फैक्ट्री का वर्कर को आप रोज रोज एक दिन वो लोग स्ट्राइक कर दे, हमारे माइंड और ब्रेन भी सेम. So every day, every time, it will happen. So they also need the break, and when they need the break, that means your brain will completely stop to think, logical thinking. Okay. So in that case, what will happen? Completely in stress, you are completely in, maybe you are in weak position. Weak means mentally weak, not physically, I am telling. So that time what will happen? Maybe you are going to gym every day, you are having healthy food every day, but still what the result you want, that result you are not getting. Like why we used to go to gym for being healthy, for maintain our weight. That is the thing. But if after going to gym, or if after maintaining a healthy lifestyle, still I am having mental stress, or still I am not able to sleep properly in the sense lots of thoughts ki okay, tomorrow I have this presentation, tomorrow this things. So gradually what will happen, there is a hormone called cortisol. So cortisol, what when it happens, like okay, just I am giving an example. It's not always cortisol we call stress hormone. Stress is, there is good stress also, bad stress also. So good stress means, suppose tomorrow you have exam, and today of course your brain is telling you ki tomorrow you have exam, so today instead of playing you have to study. That is a good stress that is needed for us, all of us. Your exam has gone, your result was also out, but your result is not expected, or maybe your result is not yet come, but your exam is not going well. So now you are thinking, oh my god, what will happen, what will happen with my result? My exam is already over, I can't reschedule it or do it again. So what will happen? Now you are giving your brain unnecessary stress you are giving to your brain. Your brain don't know what is happening outside. Your brain only know that there is something stress. When your brain will sense the stress, then what will happen in our brain? The hypothalamus is there. So there is an HPA axis. So hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis, there is an axis. So what will happen? Our brain will give the signal to our adrenal gland to release the cortisol hormone. Cortisol is a stress hormone. So it is good for some time. Like biryani, once we have in month, it is good. But if you have regularly biryani, then of course your health will not going good. Na? So stress is also like that. Stress is not like ki something okay, some major thing should be there. No, unnecessarily stress. Like if you don't, suppose you are planning to reach in your office by 10, but suppose due to traffic jam you are reaching by 10:20. So you're in your mind, something stress is there ki what will happen, what my boss will say. So this is the thing. And this, if you observe yourself, if you ask your mind, this kind of little stress is going every time in our life, every single time. Nowadays, because nowadays we are literally going through very stressful life, every one of us. So in that case, even if you are going for yoga class, if you are doing meditation, but still that is not enough for your mental peace. Mental peace is something different. For that reason you don't need to go to yoga class. Mental peace is something literally different thing. So for achieving your mental peace, the main important thing is to know your emotion. That is the part of music therapy. Why I am telling to know your emotion means, sometimes what happens, that is a mixed emotions. Why I am telling mixed emotions? Okay, let me give you an example. Suppose you are planning to visit somewhere with your partner, okay, in this weekend. In between, what happened? Your boss this Friday gave you lots and lots of work. So this weekend you have to complete that work, and by Monday you have to submit. Now you are angry with your boss, you are depressed with your work, and you are sad because you can't be able to go to your partner with that destination. Now if your partner will several times ask you, when we are going, but you don't have any answer because you can't say no to her and you can't say no to boss. That time you are getting frustrated and you are, maybe yelling at your partner, प्लीज मुझे अभी छोड़ दो, तुम क्यों मुझे बार बार तंग कर रहे हो, लाइक दैट काइंड ऑफ। यहाँ पर क्या हुआ कि आपका इमोशन कुछ और था मगर वो किसी और पे चला गया। तो इन साइकोलॉजी दैट इज कॉल्ड डिफेंस मैकेनिज्म, दैट इज वेरी कि जहाँ पर हम लोग बहुत सेफ फील करते हैं वहां पर ही हम ज्यादा चिल्लाते हैं। तो इससे क्या हुआ, आपका रिलेशन पे हैम्पर हुआ, आप खुद भी खुश नहीं हो। And besides, for the work you are staying at home for 2 days in your weekend, that work is, the result is also that not that much, up to your level, because you didn't able to do that work with your full concentration. The initial thing is we should know our emotion, what our mind is telling. Okay, so we have to first fix our boundary, we have to fix our priority. When you will know your emotion, suppose you are planning for that weekend from long time, so that moment that should be your priority. And boundary means you should know ki okay, for this time only I have to say my boss ki no sir, I can't be able to do, because this is, you are telling me in the last moment and I have already planned for this vacation from long time back. What maximum will happen, maybe you will not be able to get the promotion maximum, but it will help you to at least spend a quality time with your partner, for which you are planning for long time. So sometimes we don't able to identify our emotion, and we don't able to identify our priority. Once we focus on ourselves, once we ask our mind ki what do you want, how are you feeling, then our emotion automatically, one by one emotional layers you can find, and based on that you have to fix your priority. So music therapy, how it helped, there are lots of techniques. So one of very famous technique we call songwriting. Actually it's songwriting means we can't expect ki our clients will write song like a professional way. It's not about that professional songwriting, but it's just a technique where by asking several questions we choose words from clients, and based on that they write those lines in a form of a song, and based on that when we just sang for them, they then able to identify ki okay, so this is happening with me, this is the issue with me, this is not my song, and most importantly that is their song, they are the creator of that song. So based on that I gradually help them to understand ki you are the creator of your own life, you are the person who can create, you are the person who can destroy. So if you think, just you have to shape your thoughts, just you have to shape your emotions. First you have to identify ki what exactly you want. So nowadays lots of this kind of clients, even this client also, one of my client who is, they are parents actually, they are very much stressed because for their children's mobile addiction. So they actually came because they both are working, they can't able to give much time to their child, but they want to stop their that mobile addiction of their child. But besides that they are very in stress ki what should we do, we can't leave our job, we are not able to give our time to my child, so what should I do, extremely stressed. So I am doing that counseling to both of them. So this is the thing ki if I am in stress, then I have to fix my priority. You can't you can't keep both of your legs in like a boat, right? Any one boat you have to fix for a temporary time, not for permanent way. So you have to fix your priority first, and for that reason you have to identify what is your priority, what is your emotion. And music therapy actually it worked a lot, specifically songwriting techniques what I applied for so many clients. There are so many clues, so many things based on that, based on the need of the client. Because if I ask my client, okay, just explain what happened to you, they will never, or they may hide something. A very good example I can give you, that movie you must saw, Love Ajkal, the old one, Saif Ali and Deepika Padukone. There was a scene in last where Saif Ali was in abroad and France, I think. So Golden Gate project. There he won. That was his dream project. And he broke up with Deepika for attending that Golden Gate project. And after reaching there, after achieving so many success, one day he was feeling ki everything is just zero. What is happening? He visited to psychologist, and that time you remember that scene. Psychologist was asking ki, have you shared everything of your life? he said, yeah, I have shared. But psychologist was understanding he was not. There is something still in his mind. But actually, Saif Ali was not intentionally not sharing that he was not. He didn't identify ki, okay, what extra I need to share. He didn't identify that. But he identified it later. When in his subconscious mind, the photo of Deepika Padukone just flashed in his mind.
Hmm.
So that scene is very much, this happened to all of us. Sometimes we don't identify our emotions. That movie I really like because there is a lots of psychological things there. Like another movie, Dear Zindagi. So sometimes we just don't follow our mind, and that's why gradually there are three layers of our mind: conscious, subconscious, preconscious, and unconscious. So gradually, what our need, it just go deeper and deeper in our unconscious mind. So even we try to figure it out, we can't, because we don't know what exactly my problem is, and we are just floating with the problem for the whole life. So that is the magic of music therapy. I must say magic, but I am not in pro in that area right now. Still I am learning, but still I say ki, yeah, I have seen it worked a lot.
And how do clients find you, right? So through what means, like, do you do any marketing? Do you have any associations with other therapists or doctors? What kind of things work for you to create that awareness, right? Because I'm sure who is coming to you is someone who understands, okay, this might be something that I want to do, right? So how do you go about doing that?
I mean, spreading awareness.
Correct, correct.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, for layman means apart from. I mean, I must say ki I would love to go for experience. Experiential sessions are very much needed because music therapy can be applied for anyone, not for any specific patient or specific area, right? So for anyone. So first of all, the experience is very much needed. So I generally usually I go for experience based sessions for my clients or for the layman who wants to know more, because after experiencing that, they can feel ki, okay, this is the technique, some techniques how it works. And for doctors or psychologists or psychiatrists, those who already have lots of scientific knowledge about that, so based on them I just explain based on scientific pattern, like how it affects in our brain, how it affects in our whole areas of brain, like left hemisphere, right hemisphere, how it affects to release our hormones, dopamine, adrenaline, dopamine, cortisol, and serotonin. These hormones, how they just create the balance. For them, if I just describe the scientific way for layman, that will not work. For them, that will not work. So, based on the clients, I have to, of course, and experience is very much important. Just describing is not enough, because when as a music therapist, right now I have chosen this profession after I experienced that. Until initially, when I was going through only theoretical knowledge, to be honest, for me, music therapy is just like applying music for your clients. But when I was actually in the working field, then I have saw how much it is difficult. Even your one client is changing every single sessions based on their mental or physical state. So music therapy, and besides, you can't stick in your own culture or in your own comfort zone, right? So there are so many clients from so many backgrounds, so many cultures, so many languages. You can't create a boundary ki I can't visit to you because you are from different culture or you are from different language. So, and it is not possible for you to know each and every language based musical knowledge or experiences, right? So for that clients also, how you will deal, specifically for several religions, like some Muslim clients, some Christian clients, some of them are very much rigid. So for them I experienced lots of initially, but gradually I experienced okay, how to overcome those negative thoughts and negative perceptions. They had some misperceptions about that. So it's all about experience. So what I experienced, if I just able to apply that for my clients, to give them that kind of experiences. But most importantly, your client needs to believe you. That beliefs should be
That
there.
is the biggest problem, right? So
Faith.
awareness
Faith
doesn't
and
exist for
yeah,
a lot of modalities in, especially
exactly.
in India.
Exactly, faith should be there, right? And for children, their parents, they want just very quick result. But it's not
Hmm.
possible for any kind of psychological or therapeutical sessions. That kind of quick result can't possible. So I would love to suggest everyone to have the faith on the therapist, at least for 4 5 sessions at least, because we are not in that state key. just to hold the client we will just keep them, because we also do believe ki mental issue is very much bad. For if I am not able to work with my client properly, of course I will refer him to another person who is more experienced or more good rather than me. Even sometime it happened, that rapport building, like there happened to me also ki me and my colleague visited to one client. Somehow the rapport she was not able to build, so she referred to that client to me. It's not ki she was not good, she was very good, but somehow the rapport, the connection is missing between that client and her. So she referred to me that client. So it's very common, but the faith should be there. The faith from patients. Otherwise, we can't do anything.
So how did you? So post, going to music school, right? The music therapy school. What did you do, right? So what are the career options that someone can look at if they are exploring music therapy? Right? So because it is a very niche industry or a vertical or a modality,
Yeah.
especially in a country like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
mainstream things like yoga, now mental health, or fitness, gym, diet, etc., are much more easily accepted than something like a music therapy. Right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So basically, career option in the sense, see, a music therapist can work in any field in the sense, mainly it has been mentioned ki hospital or NGOs or any like old age home or some this kind of. But but personally for my experience, I can say that you can work in any field. Like if in a school there is a child counselor, then a music therapist also can be there. Sector there is a mental health developer, then of course a music therapist can be there, because
You
music
can
therapy is a,
augment other modalities
yeah,
support you.
yeah. See, that is that the government awareness should be there. I can't suggest ki government. I mean, in government hospital, yeah, of course, if they will recruit, or in any government school, if there is any post of music therapy. But gradually, like earlier in our childhood days, we didn't see any particularly child counselor in any school in our childhood days, but nowadays it is a very common post. So gradually, so as I mentioned, music therapist, like vastly it they can be recruited in like as I mentioned corporate sorry hospital or NGOs, but it's not like that. They can be recruited in any field anywhere, because mental health development is a common thing, and music therapy of course is a vital part for developing mental health. But the how will you apply, like see, for hospital setup, how I am applying music therapy for suppose special needs children, I will not apply like that way, or for corporate sector I will not apply like that way. So as a music therapist there is a not a common thing you can apply for everywhere. So you should know as a therapist ki who is your population, based on your population and based on their need. See, now you can say ki there are suppose 10 people, 10 are from different background, they have some different need, so how will I deal with them? So based on, if you go for some group therapy session, then you have to find some common issue. Like if I work for corporate sector, so corporate sector is a very common thing, that is their workload and job stress and like that. So yeah, they might have some personal issue for their personal life, so that is different thing. If they will come from in person session, that is different. But when I will go for group sessions, then of course my target will be to focus on their workload and job stress, because that is very very common for all of them and they can relate to it. And
Hmm.
for cancer patients, they all are going through a life risk kind of mental state, life risk, uncertainty, especially losing their beauty. So if gradually in group therapy session, that will, if these are my common area, so of course I will not directly apply any technique, but I will help them to lead the session. They will lead, I will just indirectly help them to how they are discussing. Gradually I will apply some technique. So you have, as a therapist, as I mentioned, yeah, of course you are the leader, you should know how to deal with your clients and who are your target population. So for as a career, as I mentioned, you can apply it anywhere, but you should know how to apply. So music therapy is not for any specific area.
And let's talk about the business side of things, right?
Yeah.
So because that is also important to sustain someone, right? So
Mm-hmm.
because if a lot of people are now exploring moving away from mainstream corporate jobs, etc.,
Of
to
course.
explore wellness, right? So one, either because they are facing something in life and then they explore something, it works wonders for
100%.
them. They go back and say, okay, this is something that I want to do, right? I want to help others, right? So for such people, it becomes important that this practice becomes sustainable and profitable over time, right? So if we look at, I know the economics of running probably a mental health business or a studio business, wellness studio business, or the fitness business, right? So how does the economics work for music therapy, right? So uh, what kind of demand is out there? I know that awareness has to be built, right? Especially for people like yourself who know something else as well. Like you are also a psychologist, right? So there are two reasons why people might come to you. They might be coming to you because you are a psychologist, or they might be coming to you because you are also a music therapist because they know what music therapy is, right? Whoever doesn't know what music therapy is, they might reach out to you because you are a psychologist, right? So which works great for you, right? But for someone who is just a music therapist, right? So how does that work? What is the path that they have? Like how much time does it typically take to build that awareness, build a small market for themselves to build a sustainable practice?
Yeah, so actually, to be honest, as you already know, ki in India, music therapy is still very little thing. Yeah, so it will take time, but of course, one good thing is nowadays people are very much aware about mental health. So once they get the proper result of from music therapy, because as I mentioned now, nowadays lots of people, they just after, even after COVID period, lots of online courses are there. To be honest, just after doing any kind of certificate course, they think themselves like psychologists, music therapists. Even nowadays in social media, 99 you can get lots and lots of courses. So to be honest, some courses are just you can't handle ki how they are yeah. So and besides, most importantly, what I felt ki nowadays people are most focusing on gaining the popularity. For them, the content is maybe just zero or maybe one, but they are just highlighting in that way. They are gaining million views, and based on
Right.
that, their popularity. So
Right.
most of the time, layman, they don't know about music therapy, right? So they are just searching random videos and they are getting maybe that kind of informations, and they are based on that they are thinking, okay, this is music therapy, or maybe they are doing just some certificate course and they are getting certificate and they are telling themselves I am a certified music therapist. But as I mentioned earlier also, after just doing the degree I can't say myself as a music therapist. No, after practicing in real life situation, now I can say, yeah, I am a part of music therapy. I am not a, I mean, I am a learner, still I am a learner. So the actual thing, what is actually music therapy, that we should first spread. The awareness should be spread, because most of the people, 90% of our in India, they don't actually know what is music therapy. Even as I mentioned, in, I mean, educated person as well, like it's very much bad. When I first, I mean, listen from my guide, he, when he say told me ki music therapy is completely a myth. So he was my educational guide. So I can't deny in the sense I can't just argue with them, right? He is my guide.
Hmm. Hmm.
He don't know actually how it worked. I can't argue. This is the thing.
Hmm.
Suppose if he will say, he's a renowned person, if he will say any layman ki music therapy is completely a myth, so the layman of course will think if the educated person like him is thinking music therapy is layman, then who am I to say music therapy is like a big thing? So actually what I am telling you, you know awareness with practical experiences, it's very much important. So in economical perspective, if I mention right now, it's not that much economically sustainable, but
Hmm.
of course 10 years back, if I think 10 years back, people are not that much aware about mental health. Not 10 years, even before COVID, mainly mental health awareness grow mostly during COVID period when people got isolated that time. So now people are more aware about mental health. Now people are more about our yoga and everything, mindfulness. So I must say ki if proper way, in proper way we can educate people, if we, in proper way we can share the actual essence of music therapy, actual knowledge of music therapy, then of course within 5 years I think it will grow in that level. But the actual knowledge should be there. Lots of
Are there
misconceptions are
any
still working.
Are there any prominent music therapists, out there in the world, India, anywhere else, right, who have made a large enough name for themselves uh, that can help people who are watching as well to follow and
Yeah, music therapist in the sense,
or
see, like, yeah, in South India, like Chennai School of Music Therapy, in Pondicherry, Sri Balaji Vidyapith, they are like right now the profound music therapy institutions. Even in Kolkata, also some Swarantar Institute, they are trying to, incorporate music therapy. Besides, yeah, there are lots of music therapists are working right now. But to be honest, it should be like a group teamwork in the sense, not a single person. I mean, a single, if I am like a single person, if I try to spread the awareness as a whole, it can't possible, because now it is music therapy is like in this position. So if from this position I want to keep in that position, so of course the joint work should be there, because music therapy is completely a holistic approach. So sometimes for some group activities or for some, like applying that, I mean, several kind of techniques, we need professional help. So professional help in the sense, most, see, if I ask my like professors to come and to like apply something, they may come, they may give some lectures, or they may, maybe for one session they can come, but they can't come regularly, right? They are already in that I mean high state. It, who are like us, who are students or who are learner or who like practicing right now, if all of us with the guidance of our professors, if we just go for a teamwork to spread the awareness, of course, how it is working for mental health development, of course, if we spread the awareness scientifically and logically, I do believe ki it will work. Like, mental health was not that much famous earlier, but nowadays everyone knows about mental health. So it is how music therapy scientifically and logically helps to develop your mental health. So if you are like investing your time and your money and your energy for doing yoga or doing gym, then you also need to invest your money, time and energy for having a session of music therapy. So most of the people, what happen ki even in psychological session also, like, people think ki, okay, for one session I will pay 1,000 rupees. Why? This is like no result, as I mentioned ki in gym they will have the result, but in this session, music therapy or psychological session, they don't get the instant result. So they are once, like, after going for 4 sessions, maybe they will think ki, oh, this month extra 4,000 I have to pay, okay, from next month I will not go for that. So extra, like extracurricular activities in our earlier age, that extracurricular activities, but now it called co-curricular activities, not extracurricular, right? So that is, so music therapy is not the extra thing. This, as I mentioned, this is very much important. Or like in India, in abroad, this abroad it is very much famous, right? In India, it's like brainchild, but in abroad, it's very much famous. But still, in India, specifically in South India, it's very much famous till now. They are very much, they are working really very high, really very nicely. If proper awareness program can be conducted, of course it will grow nicely. 100% it will grow, but proper awareness program should be there where people can experience.
so is there like a collective of music therapists in India? Like, is there like an association or some kind of union or collective?
Like I mentioned, some institutions, though they I mean conduct music therapy.
So those must be like private institutions, right? Like
Yeah.
for mental health professionals, allied health professionals. Right?
No, I mean those who are like no, it's not institutions in the sense I mentioned where they do teach about music therapy. Huh? Yeah, they are private. Yeah, are you asking about those
So, like,
institutions who teach or?
one collective where all music therapists can register as I am a qualified music
Okay,
therapist.
okay,
I
okay,
belong.
okay, okay. Yeah, there are like Indian Association of Music Therapy is there.
Okay.
Of course, and World Music Therapy Association is also there. Like being a music therapist, I also can be a member of that. But in India, Indian Association of Music Therapy is there. Those who work only on, I mean, Indian music related. Yeah, they are
And do
there.
they do any sort of outreach activities or awareness building activities?
Yeah, yeah, they provide. They provide. Of course, they provide. They used to do seminar, summit, and But activities, yeah, they of course do, but I don't know ki they, I mean, in reaching that place they do or not, I don't really know. I'm not aware about. But yeah, they do this kind of several seminars for growing awareness, and those are very productive, very, I mean, profound people are there who gives lecture and who gives. But as I mentioned you also, ki rather than like enrich people, it's more needed to spread awareness for no layman. I mean,
Correct.
like I already know about music therapy, right? So I will always go for yes. But that people who don't know about that anything about this thing, if he or she will, after experiencing that, if he or she will say yes, then that is the main feedback. It is important.
Like before we close out, right? If you had to, pick some steps or a path for music therapy to become mainstay, right? One is building the awareness, right? One is working as a team, coming together, right? So because I think even I discussed on my previous episode also that there are fragmented music therapists, right? So they're not together. They are not on one platform like as a group discussing. Okay, what do we need to do, right? To push things out. Everyone is working by themselves, trying to build it by themselves, and that is the largely that is the case with the wellness industry, right? Every professional is trying to figure it out for themselves. Whoever cracks it, and the rest of them are left behind, right? Which is not the case with a lot of other technology industries, right? So, like if you look at an e-commerce industry or the AI industry, right? So, knowledge is transparently shared, or people are curious enough to learn. Okay, what is working?
Yeah, yeah,
But that
yeah, yeah.
networking aspect of it is great, right? Where if some other startup is working, I would go to that person and say, okay, what have you tried that has worked? Let me try and understand. I'll talk to 5, 6 more
Yeah,
people. I'll do the playbook of sorts,
yeah.
right? So if I now I know if I want to start an e-commerce business, I know how I'm going to get my first 10,000 customers, which is not the case for wellness industry. So how do we get there as an industry?
Main thing is unity should be there.
Uh,
Unity should be there, right? People unity, yeah. So as
Unity,
you
correct.
mentioned, yeah, so this thing, this is the mentality, like yeah, I still faced something from, unfortunately this happened to me also, ki like whenever, I mean, one of my colleague, she was practicing with a client, so I was very new that time. So I just went to observe her ki, okay, how she was doing. So she was just tell me ki, please you just go outside, I want to, yeah, I am not telling ki she intentionally did that, maybe it's like for privacy, it's very ethical thing, of course we can't explore everything to them. But I, that time I was very new, so I just go outside, and I also, being a psychologist, I know ki privacy should be there. So later I asked her ki, okay, so can you please explain the scenario, but she didn't.
Hmm.
See, as a music therapist, or as a basic person, I do believe ki how much knowledge we have, if we share that, the knowledge will increase. Because if I share my knowledge to you, maybe you will input some of your ideas with that, maybe after mixing that ideas in my knowledge, I can explore more and more. So
Hmm.
yeah, it is about our awareness ki we can't do anything, like
Hmm.
like if our professors will think like that way ki, no, the knowledge I have, I will not teach to my students, I will teach less, then what will happen? Then the knowledge will be there only, the stagnant way, it will not come from up to down flow, right? So it is like that ki I do believe we all, for spreading the awareness, as you mentioned about, particularly for music therapy field, it is very much new in India, because already outside they can have the effectiveness of music therapy in large way, but in India still they are struggling, we are struggling. So I do believe ki we all have knowledges, and music is actually in our mind, because when we, one of our professor used to say that when we cry after birth, that is also a part of music. And basically the basic sat swaras like saregama padhani, this comes from our nature only, that is why these sat swaras are called shuddha swaras. So I do believe ki we all have knowledges, and those like us, we have some, maybe some shaped knowledge about music therapy after going through the professional courses, degrees and all. So if for giving training for further generations, or for spreading awareness, if we just share, exchange our knowledge in a holistic way, if we, for building some positive thing. Our main target is to help people for developing their mental health. It's not about any, why I am doing this for them. What in exchange, what I will get. In exchange, the success I will get. That should be in my mind. Ki if one of my client will get success, then that is the success of mine as well. It's not about my client success. So if I will think in that way, ki okay, if I want to connect music therapy in mental health aspects, then of course I have a limited source of knowledge. Maybe some of my colleagues, they have some other source of knowledge. So if all the source of knowledge will compile and we will share, exchange our ideas and thoughts for giving proper experience to my population, all the population, target populations, then of course that will create the magic. I do believe that. So for here, I believe ki unity should be there. The in this age, at least the mind should be more broad rather than for ki okay, I have the degree, so I will only practice. Then if you have this kind of mindset, then you can help only 10 people, not more than that. But unity should be there. If you have unity, then you can help the whole country, because mental health, we all are struggling.
So I think, especially for a country like India, right, where
Yeah, very much.
going back 75 years as well, right? So
And
we've been in.
besides, one more thing, in India, it is a multicultural, multilingual country. So, like I have experienced when I was in Chennai, the culture, the language is completely 360-degree opposite from mine. I am from Bengal, Kolkata. So, my culture, my language, and their culture, their language. So, that time, I have struggled a lot initially because I didn't understand a single thing of them. Besides, you can understand, for mental health professionals, it's not about ki okay, like any doctor, if they are treating with any disease, so they just need to go through the reports or maybe just asking some basic questions. But for mental health professionals, they have to go for a deep conversation. So for that time, the conversation should be in proper way. So that time, some of my colleagues, those who are from there only, Chennai, so they know the Tamil, they helped me a lot initially when I was struggling to learn Tamil and languages and all. So that's why I am telling. So if some patient, when they are from Kolkata, even some clients was also from Kolkata, so that time I helped them a lot because I know their culture, I know the songs, I know the languages and all. So that's why I am telling ki as music therapist is actually in India, as it is a multicultural, multilingual country, so of course the unity should be there, because it's not possible to know all the cultures, all the languages. And yeah, now you can say ki for abroad, what will you do? See, even for abroad the culture is different. I can understand. Music, the seven swaras are common, that is universal. So there is also a scientific thing, like each and every swara, I don't know you know or not, but there are 7 chakras in our body na. Actually there are 12 chakras, because between two chakras there exists one more chakra which we usually avoid. So main prominent 7 chakras, all the 7 swaras are actually connected with those 7 chakras, and proper application of those swaras help to activate those chakras. So it is universally proved, and there are lots of papers and evidences based on that. I am not telling just in general. So if you search in Google Scholar, you can find lots and lots of papers ki how actually it applies. So I am telling ki like one of my colleague, she asked me ki she is from actually abroad. So she told me ki if you want to apply, you are an Indian musician, so how will you apply for this in this country? If you want to apply music therapy, how will you apply? So in that case, I told ki see, every swara, they have some potential, and every swara, they are connected with some organs in our body, and that organs is connected with some specific chakras. So maybe in your country the musical culture is completely different from my country, but swaras and their effects are same. So yeah, instead of applying Hindustani raga or Hindustani music, I will apply it in based on your way, your tune.
Yes.
But the swaras are same, right? So this is the thing. Like as I mentioned earlier, ki why Malko's raga that didn't work for me, and why that chant worked for me. I just giving up. Explanation for that, scientific explanation for that. What I learned later from my professors. Raga Malkos. That is सा गा ma dha ni sa si dha ma ga sa. So it's the basic swar pattern. Okay. So when the recording was playing by Kaushik Chakraborty, when the video was playing, that time she was doing. There are some pattern like alap, then the tan, sargams, drut, sthai, everything. So that was too much scientifically structured. Okay. So as for being already I am a musician, so while I was listening to that raga, all the time in my brain, the like hippocampus deal with our memory. So it was dealing like, okay, so now this swara pattern is happening. So then what will come? So in memory there are some existing raga or some idea about raga malkos. While I was listening to that malkos, then my brain is telling ki, okay, now this pattern, this pattern. So what is happening? My brain is unnecessarily
It's not.
getting a signal of stress that is also a part of stress, because my brain is getting the signal, okay, I am thinking is also a part of stress ki, okay, so this swara pattern, okay, this is now going for like upper octave, okay, now it's coming from for lower octave. So this is, but during chant what happened, the swar pattern is re sa ni sa re ga sa, based on that, okay, completely on lower octave. So this is also proved scientifically कि lower octave and in chanting is in repetitive manner. Your brain once initially it was new for me, so my brain needs some time to get associated with that. Gradually, once my brain get associated with that pattern, that is very repetitive pattern and very repetitive chant, nothing much. So my brain don't get any more signal, and now it is habituated with that signal ki, okay, it is happening. So now the cortisol release gets stopped and gradually my brain is getting relaxed, calm. And if you go for classical raga also, like if I played raga malkos, but in flute, no sargam, no tan, nothing in any like gana part, only instrumental part, and in flute, but only in alap, not any jhala, sargam, or nothing. Based on simple alap, simple, and flute, because the sound of flute is very good for our brain, or maybe santur. So that will work for me. That I applied also later. So that is the scientific reason ki why that time Malko's raga didn't work for me, and why that time the chant work for me. And because besides the chant, the sa, nishad, sharoj, that kind of swaras are very much effective for boosting our mental peace. That also musically proved. There are lots of scientific reason. So while I am spreading awareness, I think as a therapist, I should know what is important. So those who are getting interested to go for music therapy learning or something, I must, I would love to suggest them. Apart from psychological knowledge, yeah, of course they should have some basic psychological knowledge. But besides musical knowledge, in the sense, it's not about you are as a performer, you have to sing. So you have to know ki why this is happening, why, what, when. This WH question should be there in your mind, because all the time when you apply, it's not like that ki, okay, this patient is also in anxiety disorder, that patient is also anxiety disorder, so for both of them the same thing will be applied. No, never it happened. So this WH question should be there in your mind ki why it is happening, even if it will happen, then why it happened. Like for me, Malkos didn't work and that chant worked. Why it worked? That question came. That's why that triggered me to learn music therapy in a proper manner. So that query should be there in their mind. It's not just about getting the degree or getting the certificate. It's about query. It's about asking and to get the logical and proper scientific explanation, because science is there behind 100%.
Thanks a lot, Sohini, taking time and giving us a lowdown into your journey and also your experiences with music and psychology.
Yeah.
Right? So really excited to get this one out. Do you have any questions? Anything that you would like to?
Yeah, question in the sense, so I mean, are you planning for promoting mental health awareness by compiling music therapy or like something?
Correct. So we believe the core concept is, we believe in holistic well-being, right? So
Yeah,
because a lot of things have to work for you to be completely well, right? So it has to be
certainly.
your diet, it has to be your lifestyle, habits, mental health, everything else. right? So
100%.
how does one get there is through professional help, right? Because right now, like you said, mental health is becoming more of a concern or more of an issue for everyone that is there.
100%,
Because
yeah.
it's
Mm-hmm.
generational trauma, right? So a lot of things play into it, right? So we see that, like you said, 5 to 10 years down the line, the demand for it is definitely going to grow. So
100%.
what we want to do is we want to help the professionals that are helping the consumers manage their practice better, right? So
I can
we
understand.
don't want to we don't want them to be putting effort sitting and entering details into an Excel sheet and everything, because that is time that can be used to work with someone or do a
Yeah.
lot more deeper research that will only enhance the end client experience, right? So
Yeah.
we want to build AI augmented tools so that a lot of things can be automated for the professionals,
Yeah.
and then
100%.
eventually see how we can really work with the fraternity and the community to grow different modalities like music therapy. So that's the goal.
If I can help in any way, I'll be very happy.
Absolutely.
And thank you so much for your kindness for calling me and for giving me time. Okay. And all that.